Alrighty, folks. I simply do not know how a recession can be avoided in 2025. You have seen consumer confidence crash, investor confidence crash. We've got the negative wealth effect in full force. We have the uncertainty from tariffs, new tariffs, retaliation, all of these things. And we have a chief economist at Apollo, what it is, Torsten
Slok. Yep.
Torsten Slok. I lost it on my notes. He is actually calling this, which I think is a cute name. I don't know why we have to get cute, but his name for this is a 90% chance of a voluntary trade reset recession.
Mouthful.
That's a mouthful. That is a mouthful. But at the end of the day, a recession is a recession, whether it's man-made or not. I don't know about you, but I don't know how we avoid a recession in 2025. I can't put it together. What do you think?
Torsten's awesome. I get his daily graphs. He shoots out daily visuals that are one graph, and then he explains what's going on in the economy based on that particular day's graph. And I give credit to him because most people say, hey, what's the odds of recession this year? 45%. You're like, thanks for nothing.
Yeah, thanks for a coin flip.
But he went out on a limb in there and said 90%. And I think that unless we get a very quick reversal on tariffs, I have a very, very hard time arguing that. And for the record, you had spoken with me for the past 2 years, 3 years, whatever the number is at this point. I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back, but coming into this year, it was euphoria. And I kept saying, I understand deregulation. I understand lower taxes. I cannot wrap my head around tariffs. And I felt like a broken record just saying it over and over. And people were absolutely eviscerating me in comments as the market ran throughout January.
Yeah.
And then I kind of stayed on it, thank God, and didn't give in and cave. Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, now things came full circle. And
now what, buddy?
Scared to death. But yeah, no, I tend to agree that unless we get a meaningful reversal here, this just puts sand in the gears, and we don't need sand in the gears.
You knew this was coming because this is what I do to you all the time. I gotta define those words because those are all well and good, but they mean nothing. So what do you mean by short term? And I'll give you, is it weeks, months, quarters? How much time do we have to save the economy from being forced into what Torsten Slok is calling a voluntary trade reset recession?
You need to start seeing results now. And I mean, like now. Because again, if we're going to take this country by country as a rifle shot, we need to start putting wins on the board now. Because what happens is you're just going to lose the confidence. And it's funny, I could not say anything nice enough about Trump 3 months ago. And I throw darts at both sides of the political aisle. And you know that I was throwing them hard at Biden. And I was throwing them back at Trump too on trade. And it was, you're an idiot, Taylor. He's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. And at the end of the day, I just did not see the end game that was going to play out the way. And I don't even know what the end game that we're looking for right now is really the problem. The messaging is terrible. Our country doesn't know what it is that we're looking for. And now all of the comments, if I say anything nice about Trump, I get eviscerated, which is a complete coin flip from the last place that I was at.
Welcome to my world. In the same video, I could be called somebody
bleeding leftist or an absolute animal right-wing Trumper.
I can't believe I'm either MAGA or have TDS. Like in the same video. It's like, you guys don't understand. But anyways, I think it's comical.
I'll get back to your answer now. We need to start seeing results now.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I made the bold call yesterday saying this is the most important week of perhaps of Trump's presidency because you've got to put a win on the board, something consequential that we can get behind and turn this consumer confidence. Because right now, this consumer confidence is spinning around the toilet, and it could be gone for good.
Agreed. And we clearly want to put a win on the board, meaning Trump had Benjamin Netanyahu from Israel in the Oval Office, and it seemed like we were going to get some news out of that. Nothing came of it. We had Italy talks, over the weekend, nothing came of it. And so are we just trying to be too bludgeon with our blow right now that people can't come to terms with, all right, we'll do that. We know it's going to hurt us a little bit. Are we trying to extract too many pounds of flesh is my big question right now.
Yeah, and going back to Torsten Slok, he talks about higher tariffs, uncertainty about more tariffs, retaliation from tariffs, lower tourism, more on that in a minute, lower consumer confidence, lower corporate confidence, lower investor confidence.
Stop.
Negative wealth effect, and so on and so on. I mean, it's just like when I look at that, all of those things are somewhere between a small wave and a growing tsunami. And unless Trump and his administration can get in front of that and block some of that, or break the momentum like a break in the ocean, 2025 recession.
The biggest interaction right now is between us and China, to state the obvious. And one of the things I've been hearing a lot about, and I don't claim to be some cultural expert, but in China, apparently they use the word face, or their version of face. Saving face essentially is the line that we use in the US. And it is very important from a pride perspective for us Americans to feel like we've won. That's important to us. And it's very important for the Chinese population to feel like they've won. Right. I'm willing to step in and take a little bit less of a win here, if you're looking for this American's opinion, to just let's bring this down. Holy smokes. It's like we have economic nuclear weapons aimed at each other right now. We've not we have them aimed, we fired them.
I was going to say they're in the air, buddy.
They're in the air. And it's like, hold on. We do need cooler heads to prevail here. Listen, I get in fights with my wife all the time. I don't think I should say sorry, but at the end of the day, I know it's going to make my life better when I say I'm sorry, even when I don't think I'm wrong.
Good man. Smart man. You've been married a while. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know. This is a good question. Peter Schiff. Is he just such a perma bear that you don't even listen to him anymore?
Yes.
Or okay, he's just okay. Fair enough.
If you cry wolf 1,000 times and no wolves show up, it's hard to continue to listen. Go ahead in your comment though, because he sounds right now. To be clear.
He does. He was he sounded right. I read an article on Sunday. It says the U.S. economy is unraveling fast, soaring debt, rising inflation, banking. He actually went on to say we may now have all banks might fail with what is going on, which is I always think he's going a step too far. It could get bad. And he's actually saying what we are going into, to your point, if the tariff thing isn't solved quickly, could be worse than the Great Depression.
If you just start placing numbers on this and don't give any credence to, and I know a lot of people aren't because they don't think he's deserving of it, but like any credence to some mild head that will, modesty that will prevail in the long term out of the administration. You just think that these stay on. We go back to reciprocal tariffs at the ridiculous rates that we initially mentioned. I know Trump is egotistical. I know he's bombastic. I know he's a bully. I know he's all of these things. I think he's smart enough not to, put us into some death spiral. And maybe I'm giving too much credit here. But again, this is not someone that has been a real Trumper till death kind of thing. I've been very, opposed to a lot of his economic positioning.
Yeah, well, I think you actually have evidence of that. Again, but going back to the pause on the 90-day tariff, President Trump was actually heard to say that he's okay with the recession, but he wanted to avoid a depression. Right. And that's why he relented and did the 90-day pause. So again,
Navarro scares me. I will say that. Navarro scares me.
Peter Navarro is a lunatic. Yeah, he's wild and crazy. He certainly has a passionate opinion. That is for sure.
And Lutnick, I will say this about Lutnick. Lutnick made it very clear, like the All In podcast, and you had me listen to that, credit to you. He had it very clear in there that he was taking commands from Trump, not Trump taking commands about his thoughts on trade policy. So, whether that plays out and how that plays out, I don't know, but he made it sound like he's beating to Trump's drum rather than Trump beating to his drum.
I think that's
whereas I don't know that about Navarro.
No. Well, I'm sure you read this over the weekend. I think it was actually in the New York Times. Did you read the story about how the 90-day pause came about?
No. Inform me.
So apparently Lutnick and Bessent waited for the opportune moment when Peter Navarro was at another function, went in and cornered Trump and basically had him understand what was going on and got the 90-day pause. And, oh, by the way, waited in Trump's office until he wrote that Trump or that Truth
Tweet it.
Social post. Yeah, he wrote the post. They did not tweet until he wrote that because they didn't want Peter Navarro to screw it up. I think.
Oh no, I didn't hear that. I do think that Scott Besson is a Wall Street billionaire, and I'm not saying that makes him the smartest guy in the room by any stretch of the imagination. But on Wall Street, it is a political battle to get from A to B. So he played the political game well. He also played the outright investing game well. He understands business. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but I do think that he is a real cooler head that will help prevail in the long run. And
I'll go even farther than that. When somebody doesn't need to do the job, right? Isn't looking for the $1 million after the job is done. Because let's be clear, a lot of people get into these jobs because they're going to get a lucrative book deal and they're going to be speaking on stages for the rest of their life. That's what they want to do. He's an effing billionaire. He doesn't give a rat's ass about any of that stuff.
You're right.
So the fact that he steps in and wants to do it because he wants to serve his country should be applauded. We need more people willing to do that. And that's actually, if you go back and look at what we were doing in 1776 and for the first 50 or 100 years of our country, we had well-known and successful people step out of their careers to serve and then go back.
Well put. I never really thought about that, but you're 100% correct. All the folks that were presidents at the time were large, successful folks. And there wasn't the bureaucracy that was why Trump got elected here, right? It wasn't that he's this career politician. He understands the people as opposed to politics and is just going to, but the economic agenda there just doesn't align. And that's where we've kind of hit a little bit of a snag, a little bit of a snag here recently.
There you go. Well, you're amazing, Taylor. You do amazing stuff on Instagram. I have no idea how you get that done in 60 seconds. Where can people find it?
Oh, you're awesome. At Life Goal Investments. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on LinkedIn, and just trying to keep up to date as to what the heck's going on in the market day to day and how you should be thinking about your financial situation.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.